What's good, everyone? Welcome to the channel. If you're new to it, my name is Jake. Glad to have you here. And we're going to start a little series. I'm going to go over my cube. Now, it's not a vintage cube. Well, I guess it kind of technically is a vintage cube because I've got some cards in here that are banned in Legacy. But it's not powered. I don't have any power. Wah, wah. Maybe someday. But I thought we'd go through color by color. I'd talk about some of the cards that I've picked, and maybe you guys can give me suggestions on cards that I should include or switch out. That could be pretty cool. And so it's a 450 cube. I've been building this cube and tinkering with it for probably 4 or 5 years now. I literally just started with my collection. I didn't buy anything extra. I didn't do anything extra. I've been playing Magic off and on since Revised. And I thought, you know what? Cubes are so much fun. It lets you include cards from your collection that you probably wouldn't really otherwise play with. And so it's been this evolving thing that I've become really attached to and I'm really fond of. So, let me know if there's cards that you think I should switch out, or if you have suggestions for me. Happy to hear them. But we'll start with white. I'll try not to spend too much time on each of the cards, because in my white I have 62 cards, so that could get out of hand pretty quick. So without further ado, let's hop in. Law Rune Enforcer. Now, what I love about this card, you know what, let's see if we can zoom in a bit. There we go. I think that's better. Law Rune Enforcer. Now, what I love about this card is it's a white 1-drop, which is great, but it's good early in the game and it's good really late in the game. Helps you control against some of those bigger threats if you're not pulling cards like swords and path, things like that. So that's why Law Rune Enforcer's in there. Oh, and it's foil. Some of the, not all my cards are foil or alt, but some of them are. Soldier of the Pantheon, just a really good white weenie. Mother of Ruins and Giver of Ruins, I don't think those really need explanation. Spirit of the Labyrinth, it's a really good Taxes card. I tried to make my cube pretty combo-centric, so tax cards are pretty decent. So I like that. Same with Thalia. Tith Taker, same kind of thing, and other Thalia. Blade Splicer, it's just a really, really good card. It fits in all sorts of different decks. A 3-drop that gives you 2 bodies and 4 power is really good, and 3 of it is first strike. So Blade Splicer is kind of, in my opinion, any cube that could run Blade Splicer probably should. It's a really good card. Brightling, on the fence about Brightling. I've put it in, haven't played with my cube since its inclusion, so I don't know. I'm not super attached to it. If you guys have a suggestion over Brightling, let me know in the comments. Banisher Priest, it's just a really good card. Gets rid of an opponent, a big threat, and leaves a body in play. Linden, now this is an interesting inclusion. There's a couple of reasons why I included it. One, it's a topper art, so it's super cool looking. But my cube also cares about devotion. And this particular iteration of my cube also very much cares about life gain. And we'll get into that more in a bit here. Ranger Captain of Eos. It seems like it would just be a really good card. It helps you dig for some of those low-cost creatures that your deck might care about. So I included that. Stoneforge Mystic. I mean, obviously, spoiler, there will be Better Skull. But Stoneforge Mystic I thought was a pretty good inclusion. Hushbringer, the box topper, creepy art. Oof, so creepy. It seems like it's a really good card. It turns off like what? Twin combo and other combo things that the cube is trying to do. So I thought it was a pretty good balancing card. It's also just a kind of a good rate. Like, it's a 2 cast cost 1/2 flying lifelinker. Again, the lifelink is relevant. Wall of Omens. Yeah, I mean, not much to say about Wall of Omens. It kind of speaks for itself. Soulfire Grandmaster, if you are into trying to do some Jeskai things, or even just like red, blue things and splashing white. It's just a really good card. Keening Apparition, Therese Nielsen's signature, and it gets rid of enchantments. There are some really powerful enchantments in this cube, so having a way to deal with some of those and having a body is, I think, is pretty good. Militia Bugler. Here's another one I'm not super attached to. Now, the one thing that is kind of difficult with a cube is that, so mine is a 450 cube, and the reason I picked 450 is I think that's a pretty good balance between being able to play it over and over and not just seeing the same cards, which happens in a 360 cube, and in a 600 cube, it can become so big that it can be difficult to get really good combos and things like that. So without watering it down too much. So I think for at least for me, 450 is a pretty good balance. And with that said, it is sometimes hard to hone in on more than one or two pretty specific archetypes. But I don't know. Militia Bugler I'm not super attached to. Flicker Wisp, it's just Flicker Wisp. It's a really good card. Eldrazi Displacer, again, super, super good. There is an Eldrazi archetype in my cube, so that's a pretty big reason why it's here, but it's also just a super, super good card. Angel of Condemnation, again, it's a really good recursion card and pretty good angel. Restoration Angel. Combo. Avacyn, or Archangel Avacyn, it's a really good card. Also, it flips and it's a board wipe and this card just does so much. So that's why it's in here. I'm not super attached to it, but I like it a lot. Revelark, again, I think Revelark kind of speaks for itself. Elish Norn, you can do all sorts of crazy busted stuff with Elish Norn. Felidar Sovereign, and here we are. So this is this is one of White's main combos and archetypes that I've included. Felidar Sovereign, if you're not familiar, it's a 6-cost 4/6 Vigilance lifelink. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. So, what better way for White to just be like, oh, I win. So, that's why Felidar Sovereign is in here. I just love the idea, and I should probably get like a foil one to, but that's why Felidar Sovereign is in here. I really liked the idea of a life gain deck that actually is doing something other than just gaining life, because plain life gain decks are, frankly, they're really boring and no one wants to play against them. Resplendent Mentor and Famished Paladin. Here is another combo for the life gain. Creature you control have tap, gain 1 life, and whenever you gain life, untap Famished Paladin. So with both of these in play, you gain infinite life, and with Felidar Sovereign in play, you win the game. Johnny's Pridemate, put +1/+1 counters on it whenever you gain life. So again, with these two in play, you make this just infinitely large and maybe attack for an Alpha Strike. Soulmender, it's a 1-drop, gaining life. Nyx Fleece Ram, again, gaining life. And it's a pretty good card, actually. 0/5 for 2. Kind of slows things down, mucks up the board a little bit. Angel of Vitality, life gain, you gain life +1, so like Nyx Fleece, you would be gaining 2, and if you have 25 or more life, which is very easy to do, it becomes a 4/4, and that can close out games. Charming Prince, it's just a really good card. You get to scry, you can gain life, you can exile a creature you own, bring it back for maybe an ETB effect. It's a pretty good card. Lone Rider, this one, I'm not attached to it. I included it because of the life game thing. I think this is probably one of the weaker inclusions for that whole theme. But it's pretty good because it's pretty easy to gain 3 or more life in a turn. And when you do, it becomes a 4/4 first strike trample lifelinker, which I also feel like can close out a game. So that's why that's in there. And then we're on to Planeswalkers. So I have Gideon, Elspeth, and Gideon Blackblade. I think these are all pretty self-explanatory, all really good. And then we have some like token or go wide cards. So there's Raise the Alarm, Lingering Souls, which is just a fantastic card, Timely reinforcements. Oh, I've also, you might notice there's little initials here. These are cards that, so when I first built the cube, like I said, I didn't buy anything, I didn't do anything special or extra. These are cards that I didn't own when I put this together, so friends were like, oh, well, you should definitely include this, and they gave, they just gave me these cards, and so I put initials on there so that, just kind of give recognition to their contribution to their cube. So MVL, if you're watching, thanks, buddy. They're still in here. Spectral Procession, again, it's really good. Secure the Waste, obviously for tokens. Entreat the Angels, obviously for tokens. Glorious Anthem, again, obviously for tokens. It's an Anthem effect. And then we're onto some board wipes. So Wrath of God in this super cool full art foil. Day of Judgment, again, super cool full art foil. Balance, I mean, how busted is Balance? Balance is so good. It's good in like anything. Any deck that you're playing, you probably want a Balance. Ravages of War for all of you super degenerate people, myself included. And, of course, Armageddon. Who doesn't love to just kind of board wipe mana and make people really angry? Path to Exile, obviously. Swords to Plowshares, obviously. Banishing Light, Oblivion Ring, Grasp of Fate. Now this is a weird inclusion. It's really Grasp of Fate is like Oblivion Ring and Banishing Light, but it's from Commander. When Grasp of Fate enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to one target non-land permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. It's just really the same as Banishing Light and Oblivion Ring. The difference is, if you're playing multiplayer, so if you have 2 opponents or 3 opponents, you get to Oblivion Ring 1 permanent of each of theirs, which makes it super good. And then, yes, so this is an interesting inclusion. So, if you guys may remember, this is Legion's Landing, but this is, I think it was the Buy a Box promo. And so what I've done is, instead of just including Legion's Landing, which is a super good card and could absolutely be, and would absolutely be included, I've just auto-flipped it, and this is in its place. It's a land. You can tap it to add a white to your mana pool, or you can pay 3 and add a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink to your mana pool. And so each color from, I don't even remember what set this is from, Ixalan, had one of these flippy cards like this. And what I did was I just took each of the colors cards and auto flip them. So like greens is Groin Rise Ilmok. Its flipped side is Gaia's Cradle, but even better than Gaia's Cradle because you can also just tap it for a green. So if you don't have any creatures, it's good. So that's what I've done. It's obviously a very, very powerful effect, having it just come in flipped, but this cube's trying to do pretty powerful stuff. Silence, it's a good combo protector. Angel's Grace, another combo card. Ephemerate, another combo card. Disenchant, obviously Disenchant. Land Tax, so good. Land Tax is just so good. And then Apostle's Blessing as like a, just a protection tech card. The Phyrexian mana makes it super good that anybody can play, and you can protect your combo creature or combo artifact or whatever it is that you're trying to protect. So those are my white cube cards. I don't know why I spread these out. It's not like you're gonna be able to see them, but yeah. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think. What you think I could include or switch out. I think my favorite card, and I know I'll probably get super hated on for this, is probably Ravages of War and Armageddon. The reason is I also have this, spoiler alert, I have a Pack Rat in the cube. Pack Rat is so incredibly busted in cube. And my joke is the way you deal with Pack Rat, and I've literally done this multiple times, is you Ravages of War or Armageddon. Ravages of War or Armageddon, shut down Pack Rat. So, pro tip. But thanks so much for checking out the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me comments. Let me know what you think. What should I switch? What should I add? What should I Theros Beyond Death, I have not included in this yet. I will. Cards I'm thinking about are probably, like, at least for white, Heliod I'd probably kick around and try a little bit. I don't love Elspeth in this. But yeah, I'd love to hear your Theros Beyond Death suggestions as well. And in probably a week, I think maybe we'll do this weekly until we get it through everything. So we'll do blue next, and then black, and then Urg, and then land and artifacts and yada yada yada. So again, thanks so much for checking out the video, guys. And until the next one, I will see you later. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.